Okay, welcome to the Natural Language to SQL Artificial Intelligence Architecture presentation. This is the full version of the presentation. If you've not already done so, please view the micro introduction. Here's the link. This link is also in the description of this video, and that link will take you to our playlist here. In Natural Language to SQL is item number 8. So what we're looking at here is a simplified diagram of this architecture. Here's the full architecture, and this will be clearly articulated in this, the full version of the presentation. As I cited in the micro introduction, this probably looks intimidating, maybe horrifically complex. But fear not, we will guide you through the entire architecture, and everything will be magnificently clear and understandable. So here again is the Microsoft Natural Language to SQL architecture. This is the link. You don't have to read any of this. This is just a screenshot of the Microsoft webpage. Microsoft, in this documentation, they implemented a limited prototype, and it was written in Node.js. We're going to transform this into a full-scale commercial-grade solution. Here's a slide from the micro introduction. I'm just going to whip through this without comment because I have the comments in the micro introduction that you just watched. So there we go. Here's all the steps. Again, this is a simplification. Okay. Also to reemphasize, the main purpose of this presentation is that cybersecurity professionals must possess a practical understanding of software architectures. Cybersecurity professionals must possess a practical understanding of software architectures. In this presentation, we're going to fulfill that exact vision. Now, before we start, whenever you're doing any technical presentation, never blast your audience with something like this diagram. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to engage in a chronological presentation of each component. Again, this may look intimidating, but rest assured, this will be crystal clear. It'll be enjoyable beyond your wildest dreams. All right, so let's envision that you are a cybersecurity professional and you are asked to perform a security assessment on this natural language to SQL application before it goes into production. Now, unfortunately, documentation in the software industry, it's a lost art. You would be lucky to get even this simplified diagram. Now, there's many reasons that documentation is lost art in software, but one of the primary reasons is because of deadlines. Most software development teams are so pressured to deliver that they don't have time for documentation, let alone to collaborate with you, the cybersecurity professional. Of course, you talk to the senior management and you tell them, so hey, like no one cares how fast you deliver an application that destroys the reputation of our organization due to security breach. Okay, great. So we've won everyone over. Now we're ready to proceed. So here we are. You, the cybersecurity expert, are meeting with me, the software and AI architect, and I'm going to walk you through the architecture of the entire application. We, of course, have remembered the old axiom, the devil's in the details. The devil in this metaphor, of course, is hard to find security vulnerabilities. Hard to find security vulnerabilities. Now, additionally, the walkthrough of this UML diagram is valuable not only for cybersecurity assessments, but also for identifying software deficiencies and refining software features and onboarding new members of the software development team. So let's get to it. Here's the walkthrough. Everything in blue in this entire diagram is a API web service. Don't worry about all this text in the query orchestrator. This will be articulated as we go through the walkthrough. So for those of you who don't know, an API web service, it's essentially the same as a website, but where a website can only be accessed by a browser, an API web service can be accessed by a browser or any program. So here we've got our buddy up here, probably an end user, and he's saying, I want to ask natural language questions. And I want an AI, small language model or large language model, give me on-the-fly reports from a SQL database. So there's step one. That's a natural language question. And it might be something like, what are my 5 best-selling products by gross revenue? So this query controller, this is an endpoint on the public internet or on your internal private intranet. And it passes that natural language question down here to the query orchestrator. This is going to orchestrate everything that happens. He's kind of like the traffic cop that calls all the functions chronologically. So the query orchestrator, he sends the natural language question to the RAG orchestrator. And our IT department has created few-shot examples which serve as the AI training data. Now we're going to stop here just for a second, because I imagine some of you are thinking, hey, Conrad, this is too technical. And for those of you who are thinking that, you get 100 points. You're absolutely correct. This is technical. Software applications are technically complex. But remember, the devil is in the details. Executing software walkthroughs at this level of details is what separates professional organizations that engage in engineering excellence and cybersecurity excellence from organizations that end up being humiliated by a security breach. Now, mercifully, I'm going to skip a lot of the gory details and show these PowerPoint animations mostly without comment. If this were an actual walkthrough, we would elaborate on each and every component, talk about all the technical details comprehensively. So I'm going to pause, however, make a quick comment on this component. This is the SQL database right here. And that contains all of our organizational data. That needs focused consideration and protection. Okay, and here's the rest of this. This is spectacular. Now let's talk about just a few examples of security vulnerabilities. And this is no way an exhaustive list. So here's one relatively easy to find vulnerability. IAM is identity access management. And Zero Trust mandates that each and every operation must be protected by authentication. Another relatively easy to find vulnerability, RBAC, is role-based access control. And these RBAC controls exist on most modern databases that limit what data each user is allowed to access. This is also known as authorization or the least privilege principle. Incredibly, many organizations are so focused on the AI aspects of this beautiful new application that they're building that they completely forget about the RBAC. So the identity of this end user must be passed through the entire architecture and be used in this select operation. RBAC must be used. And lastly, here's a relatively hard to find vulnerability. If the AI training data is compromised, a threat actor can potentially fool the AI into all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly operations that could damage and/or exfiltrate the SQL database. Again, this is not an exhaustive list, but now we have a comprehensive UML diagram of the entire application, and the software team and cybersecurity team can collaborate fully in securing each and every component and deploy a fully hardened, professionally protected application. Okay, so that's it. In conclusion, cybersecurity professionals must possess a practical understanding of software architectures, and executing security walkthroughs at this level of detail is critically essential. This is what separates professional organizations that engage in engineering and cybersecurity excellence from organizations that end up being victimized by a security breach. So thank you for your time and attention. Go out today and do something exceptional for one of your friends, family, or colleagues, and we'll see you next time.